Hi everyone, it's Lonnie, and I'm back today with some papers. I thought you might like to see the different kinds of papers I'm going to be putting in my new journal. So here I am coffee dyeing some music paper. And I had a digital that needed a little bit of help in the department of, let's be seen and not just fade into the background. I think the coffee dye helped liven it up some. This is a piece of napkin paper that I had sprinkled some coffee granules. I'm using that for a size comparison for the rest of the papers. This is a book page from a gardening encyclopedia. I found that in the thrift store. It was a great find. Lots of pictures, lots of words, perfect for scrapping. So yeah, I'm assembling the pages for my next journal, hoping to establish a cover after I decide what the pages feel like. I'm pretty happy that I got some really interesting textures together, and I haven't actually finished, but if I wait till I'm finished, it might never become a video because it seems to just keep going. So this is a napkin, and it was ironed onto freezer paper. I wanted to make a page of it, but it's a little too flimsy for my liking, so I thought I would fold it in half, so double it up, and I end up gluing it. After considering making pockets, I decided I needed it to be just stable, and so I opted for glue to just make it thicker. I really like how it turned out, though. It feels really extravagant, like it's soft and just nice. Then I rounded the corners later just to finish it off a bit. It's going to be a little shorter than the rest of the pages. That's okay though. And too, the napkin itself is a little bit of a creamy off-white color, so I didn't coffee dye that. I don't like everything coffee dyed. Some things I just like to look pretty, and it has some subtle color on it already, so that's enough. So there I am gluing it. I'm doing the voiceover today because when I went to do the papers, it took a really long time, so this is just the abridged version rather than have you sit through hours of me going through papers. So I'm taking my bone folder now and just squeezing the glue so that it's not lumpy or bumpy. The napkin feels so nice and smooth. I wanted to keep that. So this is a digital that I printed out on cardstock, and I only have white cardstock for the most part. It's the cheapest, so that's what I use mostly. So I thought I'd coffee dye, at least give it a little bit of color. I don't like looking at bright white all the time either, so I guess my style is eclectic because sometimes I like a little bit of grunge, and then other times I'm a purist. This was fun. I found some cardboard that I had peeled one side off of. so it left that pretty texture, and I love working with it. I just hadn't thought of putting it as a journal page until now, and so when I saw that it was big enough, I was really happy and excited that I'd be able to put this in my journal. I know it will bulk it up some, but I think it's totally worth it. So I had to trim it. So then when I folded it, I realized that, yeah, it's going to be quite bulky, and I thought maybe there's a way we can make it a little less bulky. So after contemplating, I decided that I was gonna, well, first I tried to see if it would come off on the other side, and it looked like it actually might cooperate, so I decided to pull that side off just to make it, less bulky. So that's after I peeled it off, and to my surprise and delight, I was able to save enough of the other side of it to make a whole page on its own yet. So this is sketch paper from a sketch pad, and I had coffee dyed it. This is how I made my satiny paper a while back, and I think I covered it with a coat of diluted glue, and so what happened when I folded it here is it cracked on me, and so I was contemplating not using it for a bit. Then I got the idea that I might be able to salvage it. So here I am getting out my doilies. I wanted to use some doilies on my pages anyways, so I thought, why not just reinforce where that crack is with the doilies. And so I was able to incorporate doilies and save the page, which was nice. So I just glued it on with my Bearly Arts, and it used so little glue that there was no problem. I didn't ink them because I thought there was enough of a contrast between the paper and the doilies. So I decided to do the other side and just carry on the theme. So there's another page done. Again, testing the size for comparison. And there is a piece of cardstock that I had coffee dyed with some doilies on it. It kind of turned out, but kind of not, but I think I'll include that anyways. Alright, so this is the piece of cardboard that I pulled off the other piece. So this is a whole piece of paper here. And look at the lines on there, and where the glue was attached, it's made this pretty design on the paper here, so it feels really soft. On the one side there's this paper label stuck to it, so after I tried pulling it off and it didn't work, I thought, well, maybe I could just coffee dye it and make it kind of appear less noticeable. And then I noticed that it might come up if I rubbed it with one while it was wet, so that's what I'm doing here. And it actually does, for the most part, come off. I just can't be in a hurry. You have to let it soak in and wait till it gets wet enough so that you can actually remove it. So then I thought, well, what can I do to this page to make it more interesting? And I decided to go with splatters. So my splatter brush that I like to use was covered in metallic gold watercolor. And so I decided to go with that, and I stuck that in my coffee mixture there. And so what I have here is coffee dyed metallic gold splatter. It's not overly noticeable, but it's kind of fun. And then I thought I would take that brush and just use a stencil and make a leaf with that. That worked really well, except for the fact that it dried fairly light, and so I was wondering how to perk it up a bit. So while I was on this page, I decided to use the coffee with the little bit of metallic gold in there and coffee dye this with the brush. So I'm coffee dye painting. So that was fun. I did enjoy that. I did have to go over it a few times. I could have made my coffee stronger, but I didn't want to leave what I was doing and go do that. So then I decided that the other leaf needed some oomph, so I outlined it with coffee dyed on my brush there and just filled in the veins and the outline. I think it helped in the long run just to give it a little bit of dimension or definition so that you can actually see what it is. So yeah, there we are on the back, and I decided to take that little brush there and give it some splatter with the rest over coffee mix. By now there's a little bit of gold in it, but I don't know how much of that's going to show up. But that was kind of fun. So here is a piece of coffee dyed copy paper, which I had collaged with book paper, coffee dyed and non-coffee dyed. So I got the two-tone book page. And then I took an idea that I got from Carrie Griffiths, Carrie the Crafter, on YouTube, and what he did was he took that idea and applied the napkins to it. I'll link the video below. So then I decided I also wanted to do some spackling to give my pages some texture. I do not have an embossing machine, but I think this works equally as well, even though it's a little more messy. But I finally got my new stencils, so I thought, why not use them? So I'm working here on brown cardstock, and I had added a little bit of that metallic gold paint to my spackle. it just looks like a creamy color. The gold doesn't really show. But there's some roses, so that's got to dry. I don't think that buckle will be there after it's done drying. So then I thought, well, I got my spackle stuff out, so I might as well continue. So here I did this page. This is coffee dyed cardstock. So I added the butterfly and put my stuff in the thing to soak, and that will do it for today. I'm going to keep working, and we'll come back and see how it goes next week. So thanks for tuning in. Have a great week, guys. Great weekend. Bye for now.